Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Today I want to introduce you to Zoe. Zoe is one of the dancers, not only one of the dancers on the Queen Mary 2 and during the performances, but she's also in charge of the dancers. She's one of the ones that if a dancer has a sore foot or if it's rough seas and they have to rechange the dance a little bit so it's safer for the dancers on stage because the sea's rocking back and forth, she's the one in charge of doing that. So I'd like you to see the conversation that I had with Zoe, and if you're ever on the Queen Mary 2, I hope you'll stop in and say hi to her. All set?
All set.
Nervous yet?
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully we don't ask me a hard question.
I think you do this a lot because I saw you last night after performance out posing for pictures in the full outfit.
In the full costume.
And the poor gentleman couldn't get his phone, figuring out how to get his phone working and then going...
trying to turn it on.
And that kind of seems to be a little bit of a theme on this cruise. There's a lot of technically challenged people I've noticed on this cruise. So
funny.
I can see why Cunard's gone a certain way in some of their technology.
That's funny.
It's there. So first off, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Zoe. I am a dancer and show company manager on board Queen Mary 2.
So she would be the mother of the dancers. She looks after everybody that's out there.
Yeah.
And you have to restage if something happens. If somebody comes up lame a little bit, twists their ankle.
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously inevitable in our industry. We do have quite a few injuries and illnesses across, well, our contract's 8 months, so across that time you can't expect nothing to happen, unfortunately.
Well, you throw that in, and then you throw in that you're the Queen Mary and you do a lot of transatlantics. I know yesterday, we were supposed to meet yesterday, and you had to restage your show,
I was restaging a bit of it. We have forecasted weather, so we knew the show might have been a bit rocky last night, so we have to do a few alternatives just to keep things safe. So the last thing we want to do is cancel a show. So we've come up with alternatives in terms of the staging of it, our big lifts, any automation on the stage. So that's what we did yesterday afternoon, pre-rehearsal.
Pre-rehearsal.
So that, pre-rehearsal, so we could then rehearse a safe version,
And now, is everybody fairly new? Did the crew just turn over like a month ago?
Yeah, so as a cast, we always start and finish together. So obviously a lot of departments, just 1 or 2 people come in and out, but as a cast, we all come together. So in my cast of 16, probably half of them are brand new to sea, whereas some of them have either worked for P&O or Costa or another cruise line before. So it's quite a good mix to have some new, fresh, new to sea, and then some experienced as well. Yeah,
to show them the ropes.
Yeah,
especially.
exactly.
If you haven't been new to sea and now you're sharing a bunk.
Yeah, that's it.
And learning to dance at sea is completely different.
Yeah, so it's nice to have that variety in the cast of some new. And
now, if I was to describe the shows, Broadway shows in Cunard, I'd have to say it's more ballroom dance inspired, right?
Yes, yeah, it is. There always has been. All the Cunard ships I've done, they have been more ballroom, if not inspired, but there's always ballroom moves, ballroom partner work in the shows. And I think that's just from a time of years and years ago of, say Belinda King and Kudos, they've always had a ballroom background, and that's where the shows originated. I think as well on Cunard, the guests themselves love the ballroom start, and it's a massive part of our guest program on board, so that's why they want to see that in the shows as well and see that demonstrated.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to the old Broadway style, right? You have the lavish costumes, where other cruise lines will have more modern music. They'll have costumes, but it's not what you would see in a Broadway musical.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. I think we have all the long gowns and the big hats of as you said, the olden era of ballroom.
Well, speaking of those costumes, I know when I was talking with the people on Princess, they have crew members who work in other departments, and they come to the stage performances to help change and dress.
Yeah, we do.
Do you do that
We do
here as
have
well?
that. Yeah, we have. For most of our shows, we'll have 2 dresses, one either side. One of our shows, Rhythm of the Night, we actually have 2 dresses either side because of the quick pace of the show.
Yeah.
We just need all the help we can get. But as you said, yeah, they do work in other departments, but you wouldn't think it because they are brilliant. We honestly wouldn't get on stage without them. They zip us and take our clothes off us.
I always say there's almost, if not more work behind the stage
Yes.
to get things ready than being on the stage.
There is. I always say to the guests, the show that you see backstage for us is a completely different show. It's a rehearsed backstage show. All of our changes and our presets and everything is completely different to what we're doing on stage.
Now, I'll tell you the truth. When I came on Cunard, it's been such a long time for me.
Yes.
But I didn't know what to expect. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's
good.
too bad we've had the rough seas.
Yeah, I know.
Because it shut down half the ship.
Yes, I
in
know.
A lot.
It's a shame.
I finally got up on deck 12 today and walked around. But the wind's kicking up again. I have a feeling the captain might shut them down.
I know.
Before
although it's for safety, it's a shame as well, isn't it? Yeah.
But I totally agree because I was up there and it was blowing me and I'm pretty steady on my feet and I can imagine some guests would have a hard time.
Definitely.
But no, I've thoroughly enjoyed the stage shows. I am a stage show person.
Yes.
If you watch, I'm generally in the front row for all the stage performances. And I like a mixture. So I like the fact that one night we had a comedian, one night we had Rhythm of the Night, last night we've had the teaser, which was a mix of dancing and the young lady who sings the opera.
Yes, she was great, Annette.
The soprano.
Annette,
and she has her own show 2 nights ago, right?
Yep, she did a full show and then a little one on the first night.
And tonight is the saxophonist?
Yes, we're on with the saxophonist tonight, so that's another little variety show time that we just open the show or say close the show and she'll do the saxophonist. We'll do the main part of
now,
the show.
Now, if I was to ask you as a dancer,
yes,
which show is your favorite?
Out of my shows? I like them all for different reasons.
I catch them all on this every time.
I like them all. I mean, I love Appassionata. That's our dance show. So for us dancers, it's non-stop. There's so many different styles within that show that there has to be a favourite style for everyone. And it is very hard but very rewarding because the guests do love it. There's a lot of ballroom in it as well. So I do love Appassionata. But I also love Broadway Rocks because it goes through the different songs and musical. It's more of a musical show.
Okay.
So we do Miss Saigon, Jersey Boys, Wicked, you know,
and
oh my God, America, you know.
I didn't get to see that one.
No, you didn't see that one. Yeah, so that's all, that's more of a musical type show. So I like that just because it's different again.
Yeah. And good variety.
A good variety, and we know the music, so you can kind of sing along. Everyone knows Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I think those ones probably. Okay. But I do love them all.
Yeah. And so I'm being on so many different ships a year.
Yeah.
You can see in the performances of the dancers and the singers a distinct style with every cruise line.
Yeah.
And so I know for the people coming on, your new dancers, it must be very different if you were, say, on Royal Caribbean and then you come here because the dance style is different.
It is, it is very different. And I think definitely not all of us have been trained in ballroom and Latin from a young age. You obviously train in the usual ballet, jazz, tap, especially ballet obviously from a young age, but ballroom's more of a certain style that you take on yourself if you want to go down that route. So we obviously do train in it once we start with Cunard or with headliners, but it is very different. It's a whole new style to take on once you
a lot of people, if you ever see me sitting in the front row, you'll laugh your head off at me because I used to teach ballroom dancing about 20 years ago or so. I completely lost it. But I used to love swing and doing the merengue and all those dances. And I used to be able to teach it and I'll be sitting there in the front row and I'm doing this with my arms and I'm doing this and the person beside me is looking at me like I'm crazy. But it's because I love the moves and that not Broadway. Ballroom dancing is a style that I love, and I miss it.
I do,
And I really love being on Cunard because it brings back a lot of the old
Yeah, it
traditions.
does.
We had a seminar on Fred Astaire and
Yep.
Ginger Rogers. Got to
Oh,
watch a lot of the
lovely.
dance numbers on
Yeah.
there, and you can see that he's a ballroom dancer at
Yep.
heart. That's what he's known for.
Yep.
Everyone thinks of him as a tap dancer, but he's a ballroom
Yeah, ballroom
dancer.
dancer. Yeah, I haven't. Well, I love, and I know a lot of the cast love going down to the Queen's Room and seeing the guests
Yep.
still get up to any song when they say this is a cha-cha, this is a waltz, and the guests get up and
Yeah, and it doesn't
have a
matter if they're
dance.
cha-chaing or they're
Yeah.
not, but they're doing
It's
it.
lovely, and I don't want it to die out.
No, and you know what? I actually don't think it will.
No.
You'd be surprised how many college students
Yes,
go to ballroom
ballroom
dancing
dance classes.
because
Yeah.
it's a lot of it sometimes is inspired by commercials.
Yeah.
If you remember, 10 years ago, the Gap brought out
Yeah.
that swing commercial
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah, I
their
do remember
clothes.
that. Yeah, yeah.
It was phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
everyone was taping it and watching the
Yeah.
commercial because the dancing was
'Cause
so
of the
great.
dancing, yeah.
And that's what's kind of I love about the dance numbers and dance shows is because dancing and singing can inspire so many feelings in
yeah,
people, from sadness to
absolutely.
joyfulness. It can get you
Yeah.
through bad times. It
Yeah.
can just cheer you up on a bad day.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, I loved watching the dancers yesterday. I think Rhythm of the Nature, Rhythm of the
We were calling it Rhythm of the Rocky Night.
Rhythm of the Rocky, yeah.
Rhythm of the Nights.
But I think you guys are pretty familiar with that number routine.
Yeah.
And I could see the relaxation in a lot of the
Yeah.
faces of the dancers because
Yeah.
they love the dancing.
Yes.
And they knew it.
Yeah, that's
down.
it.
So
It
you
takes-
can enjoy it.
Yeah,
when you
it
know
takes
the
a while,
number.
obviously, to get to that point from rehearsals where you've got mirrors in front of you and everyone's working off each other. But when it's comfortable in your body and in your mind, it is very nice to enjoy the show and get, love it and just do it for yourself and for the audience rather than thinking, oh my God, what's next the whole time. I enjoy
I
them.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
And so ballroom
Thank you for
dancing,
coming.
you want to see ballroom dancing shows, come on to Cunard, especially the Queen Mary.
Yeah,
Come see the
absolutely.
staff. They'll be here for another 6 months on the
Yes,
ship,
we'll be
right?
here.
And they're going to the Caribbean, so they're going to leave all this rough weather behind.
We can't wait.
And I'm flying back to Canada. What can you do? Merry
That's
Christmas
it.
to
Merry
me.
Christmas.
Well, thanks everybody. Until next time, from the Queen Mary, I'm Don, and
Zoe,
we'll see you next
see
time.
you later.
So that was Zoe, very nice lady and very talented dancer as well. Like I say, they really do ballroom dancing a lot, and not everyone is trained on cruise ships as a ballroom dancer. But if you're going to dance for Cunard, you pretty much have to be. Not only that, she'll step out in full costume with the big hats and the big drapes and the shoulders and all that. She'll come out and pose with customers and clients after the stage performances. You'll be coming outside the stairwell, and there she is. And there's always a lineup of people wanting to take a picture with her, and there's no wonder because the gowns and the costumes are fantastic, and yeah, she really represents Cunard very, very well. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Please hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.